So welcome to this assembly guide. This is the assembly guide for the Growpipes system, and this system you can see here. And in this system you can see that we've grown some edible flowers, we've grown some herbs that turn into edible flowers. And what we will do in this video series is the first video we will be showcasing how to assemble the system. After you've learned to assemble the system, this will be a quick assembly guide for the first video. Then you will learn how to use the system. So in this setup like this, you can grow for two ways. You can grow for your own consumption and you can grow for profits. So if you want to grow for your own consumption, you can grow strawberries, you can grow basically whatever you think of. It's just a matter of, do you get the yield that you want or not? You can grow most plants in this type of system, and if you want to grow for yourself, your own consumption, you can grow for a lot of fun. You can grow a lot of herbs, flowers, leafy greens, strawberries, tomatoes. You can grow cucumbers if you feel like it. I think they're a little too big, but maybe smaller chilies and things like this. If you want to grow for more profit sense, then you can grow leafy greens, herbs and edible flowers. That's what we would recommend. That's what we're gonna assemble the system, and we're gonna grow these three varieties of plant species in the system in this video series. So buckle up, because we're gonna mount the system now, and then I'm gonna show you as much as I can, giving you the details that you need to know. So first thing you do is you take these, and it's important that you take where there is a little hole up here. There is not a hole here, but there's like a hole here all the way down. You take this and then you put it on each side. So the place where these holes are, you put inside. You put it like this, because these lines are for these later that we're gonna use. Now we take these sides here, and it's important that this one is up here. It helps if you give it a little push with a little hammer. So it's very important that they get inside here, and then they actually get stuck inside here. So now they're completely fixed, and now what we do is we will put these two bottom layers on. So now you can see they stick at the holes here, just like that. It's a good thing to just give it a hit with a hammer, just to know that it's completely in place, because you don't want it to be not completely in place and then it's gonna be unstable. So that's very important. Now we take the next layers. We do the same thing with these ones here. It's important that this hole in here is inside and it's turned upwards, not downwards, because then you're gonna have to redo it. So at the 15th hole, we will place the bottom part of this part here. You know that it's in place and it fits. That's great. So on to the next one. It's important that you get it into both of the holes, and it can be a little tricky, but that's important to get it as stable as possible. So a nice way of doing it is just holding it in place with your hand and then giving it a hit with the hammer, just like that. Just double check that it's stable, and then you can take the next parts that we have here. And slide them on like this. Now this setup is almost complete. We just need the top layers up there. And what we're gonna do is we are going from the beginning to slide in the light holders. In order to mount these really awesome lights onto the system, we need to set up these guys, because they are going to hold the lights. So, and I'm gonna show you how to do that as well. Of course, we have the line here, and then we will just take these ones, these guys here, and we will put them inside of this one here. And we are going to do that on both of the ones that are going to be put into the top. Because on these we can put the poles that you also have in the kit, and on the poles we can mount the lights. So that's what we're going to do now. Like I said before, hold it in place. Then with a hammer. This is a good job to do 2 people, by the way. But since it's only me, this is all you're gonna get in this video. We're gonna do the same thing with this next one here. This is the line. This is the way that they need to be below, like this. Please don't break these, by the way, because it's only 4 pieces in total that you get with it. So don't break them. That's gonna be a bit annoying to try to glue together or something like that. And sometimes if you can't get these in, it's because the system is a little crooked or it's not standing properly. So just get them all the way down so you know they're tight and they last and they don't fall down. Now we have a skeleton. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the holder for the bottom. You have gotten a tube like this connected with the system. I've already mounted this before, but you get this and this really just clips into place, and then it holds the tube. And below here you have a bolt, and that bolt you can put between these two, and then from the bottom you can screw up here to make sure that it's very stable. So then you put the bolt down below here. Make sure the system is stable. If you wanna make sure that it's very extra stable, you can strip it in place if you really want to make sure that it's super tight. But what I found is that when you put the tubes up, the Growpipes up, and then you mount them up here, there is a plant holder, and the holder for the Growpipes up here is gonna keep everything in place. And we've grown a lot of plants on this system and it has not fallen down. If you're the type that really likes to make sure that everything is double tight, you can strip it. I've worked with the system without doing that and it worked out fine for me. But now we have the bottom part. Let's put in the water tank. In the Growpipe system, in the 64 plant system, there is the water tank like this, that's around the same size, and it goes down here. What I did myself is I have exchanged that, because the water tank works fine when it's a small tank like this. When you have it at home, you can fill it up every 2 or 3 days and it's completely okay. But I like to have a really large water tank to make sure that if I go for a week or a week and a half, I can just fill up the whole tank and it still runs also when I come home. So that's one of the nice things about putting a bigger tank on the setup. As you can see here, we have the water tank. I already put water in it, so we're gonna put it up here. And then this will be in place. As you can see, we have a lot of space for the tank. I've chosen quite a big tank to add to this system, just because I like to have more room to maneuver in. And of course, when you have put the tube here, the holes need to be as vertical as possible. So the Growpipes don't go this way or this way, but they actually go straight up. And then we take this, we mount this. Then we have this one we put on top of this one here. Now let's take the more easy part. We're gonna put the tubes into the drain tube here, and then we're gonna put together the setup to keep the tubes in place. Gonna screw it all together, and then I will go around and I will show you how this all is set up. Now we need these parts, this part, this one, and here, and this one here. So this connects like this, and this connects like this. So this is for holding in place over here, and it's pretty simple because this really just clicks into place. Super simple. And then the idea is that we take this one here, and then these ones are going to hold this guy. So this guy is going to hold all the grow pipes, and I will show you how to do that as well. So just to give you an idea about how the system works here. Here we have 2 pipes. It's like, you know, you can just put them together. So this is the pipe. The water goes down here on one side, and the other side it goes down here. So super easy to mount together. They just slide right into place. And in this setup we have 8 layers. In the bottom we have a plant holder, and in the top we have a lid. And in this lid there's 2 holes, and in these 2 holes we're gonna pump the water in from the top. Then we're gonna use gravity and let gravity do the rest. Trickle down. This will trickle down into the tube and then back into the water tank. Very simple. And the way that this plant holder, this one here, the way that it works is that you can put this through, and then you can mount this one here. So this one is just really for keeping everything in place and making sure everything is stable. And that's the idea with this. Please don't break this either. Please don't break any of it, because it just does not make sense to break stuff. Maybe be 2 people doing this, yeah, and then have a lot of fun doing it, I guess. Now we're getting to the tricky part, because now it would have been awesome if I would have had a little helper here. But I am just going to fix it myself. I am a big boy, I can do it. So let's just take this, put the balls here. Maybe it's a little tricky for you to see all the way over there unless you have eagle eyes, so I'm gonna just take and show you how it looks. So this is how it's set up. Up here we have the holes for the metal holders for the lights. Here we have the holders for the grow pipes. Soon we're gonna install that. Down here we have installed the irrigation tank. That's all set up. So let's continue. I'm putting 7 grow pipes together. Then I'm gonna put a bottom on it. Then I am going to have the next one up here ready. And then I will have this ready now. So let's just check. Let's see, we have put this here. Perfect. So this just needs to be lifted a little. And this is the great thing about this system. You can lift this up and down, and then it's on the 7th layer that you want to put the last layer on top. It's just a good idea to double check. And now we will just put the last one here together. Put the holder in place. Now the holder's in place. So let's get the first pipes up here. So we have the pipe with the top. We already mounted the top. We already mounted the bottom. And then, bam, in place. All right, and then we do this 7 more times. Phew, so that's it. So now, as you can see, what we've done here is that these levels here, we can turn them a little and we can play with them as we want to, but we really want to turn them so each tube is on the next side, so they are going in crisscross. And by doing that, we get more plant space, and by having more plant space, the plants can grow more into what they need to grow into. And this is a great way of setting this up. So now we will be setting up the irrigation, because then we can set up the lights afterwards. It's much easier doing it that way. So the system works in this way. You have gotten some connections. You have gotten the top connection here and the bottom connection here. There is some tube. As you can see, what you do is that you press, and then when you press, you can really slide it out, and then you can press it in place. Now it's safe. I have been running this system at the company, and it has shown no leakages. So this is also just a general advice and a disclaimer that I advise you to set this system up in a way where you have the system set up like this, maybe in a garage, or if you have it in your home where you have very expensive floors and really nice floors that you don't want to be wet. It's a good thing to just place it on something that can contain the water. I have not seen this drip and not seen any leakages after working with this system for half a year. I just want to not happen to anybody out there who mounts it wrong or does some mistake with it. Of course, feel free to call us so we will advise you, but I always advise maybe have something in the bottom, or if it leaks in a place where the water doesn't ruin your very expensive teak floors or whatever it could be. It's always a good idea to, if it's a garage like this or it's a cellar is very humid, so if it's a humid cellar, I would highly advise you to get a dehumidifier. You can get a dehumidifier on the Nordic Hydro as well, because this is essential when you want to grow plants indoors. You don't want to increase the humidity of the room and basically destroy the whole place. What we are going to do in this garage, we are going to ventilate the garage a couple of times, like 1 time per day. And that should be enough to keep the humidity down. We also have a dehumidifier. I'm gonna put this up in a later video so you can see how this works. But the general advice is please put this up in a way where if it leaks not and destroys everything. You have some kind of container underneath or something like that. But what I've seen working with this system for a long time is that I have not seen any leakages for half a year. You can put this together and then you press it in and then you drag it out. And as you see here, we've really worked with this system for some time, so it's built up some clocking. So what I will do is I am going to take this. This is the setup basically, because you have these tubes going to the smaller tubes and these tubes go to the top of the system, up to the holes up there. And in the end you have a stopper. This will stop the water in the one side, and then it's set up like this. So you need to cut the tube into these pieces and then put them together. You can press down and then you can drag them out. And then you press them all the way in. And if you try to pull it, you can't pull them apart. So this is how the setup works. We are going to take these and change all of them, because as you also can see, it's pretty nasty. So we're gonna do that first. But let me first just put in the pump, and then we can do this afterwards. It works in the same principles. You can press it down and then you press it in again. And what we have done here is we have just put it down into the water. And what I like to do is I like to bring it back up here. And I like to place the pump where it's standing on the bottom, like this. And then I give it a strip just to hold it in place. Now it's sitting there. It's ready to get up here. Pump the water up. And now what we will do is we will change the small tubes. Okay, so now the system is running. So I set up the tube here. The pipe is going up here, connecting with all of these connectors putting water down to the system. Make sure that these ones, they don't get stuck or they don't cramp down or close down. You need to set up in a way where they are free to flow with all the water. And what you can see here is the water coming down all of them. Just also that you know it, it's sometimes these ones, if you put a little too much fertilizer or it's built up with fertilizer, then it can get clogged up, so it stops working. Then what I do is I just do like this and then until it works, and then it goes down again. Sometimes I have to do this, but it's not necessary all the time, but it's just a good way to check to make sure that it's done in the right way. Now we will mount the lights. You have some metal poles. We're gonna mount those metal poles to this one here. I'm gonna do that and then I'm gonna show you how that looks. Okay, so now we've mounted the lights. It was pretty simple. So we have the plug going into the power supply. Then we have the driver up here. We've just mounted this with 2 big strips. Then we have the power supply going up here. And then it goes up here to make sure that it connects to this one. Then it connects to this light. Then it goes through over here and connects to this light. And then what I've done is I've taken it up above this and connected to this light. So you can just play around a little with it. What I have done is I've just stripped these in place, because this is really good quality lighting, so the wiring is also really high quality. What we've done is we have just stripped it together. Remember guys, this is kind of like a prototype solution and most of the parts fit together, but some of the parts we still had to find ways to make work. So this is what we've done. Maybe you think this is unprofessional, maybe you don't. We have really not considered too much of that. We just wanted to make a setup that was usable and was able to grow plants in, and that's what we have done here in this small setup. So now we will mount these ones. They have a little clip, so they clip into place like this, and then we place them here in the system. As you can see, I've also used this system before in some of the older videos, but now it's here and now it's ready to grow some edible flowers, salads and some herbs. So that is basically the setup. That's how you do it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out, but I'm gonna put the last parts together. So as you can see, now the setup is complete. You can play around with a little if you want to add more height, lower the height, get the light closer, get the light a bit further away. From mounting this now, I realized that what would be a good idea is to take and not use the 15th of the bottom here, but use maybe the 13th of the bottom here, because then you still have room for your water tank, and you will get a little more room up here, so you have more room for the top irrigation, and then your plants will be a little lower, so that will optimize the plant space a little. And basically that's it. Follow along in the next grow series where we're going to take our propagated edible flowers, our salads, our herbs, and put them into the system. Then I will show you how to do that, and then you will learn how to operate the system in a very simple way. So hope you learned something for today. Now you should be ready to assemble your own Growpipes setup. And yeah, feel free to reach out if you have any questions. You can find the setup on nordichydro.com, and I'll be happy to help you with everything you need. Also to guide you how to do it. If there's anything, if you have any questions, let me know. Have a good time. Take care.